Hey Nick, how are you this morning?
Hey Marco, how you doing?
Really well, man. Any idea what we should have a look at today?
What we're going to do today is we'll do a lamb rump. So it's a smaller cut of lamb meat that we can cook in a lot short of time.
Awesome.
When you're cooking lamb rumps, you can cook it on a weekdays compared to when you're cooking a leg of lamb, which you really need a whole Sunday afternoon to do. You can put the lamb rump on when you get home from work, prepare some vegetables.
Dinner in half an hour.
Of course. We're going to team that up with some root vegetables. Seasonal root vegetables at the moment are gorgeous. And we'll team that up also with a pan gravy.
Fantastic. So some nice heavier cooking for those winter months.
Exactly. Shall we go have a look?
Let's do it.
So we've done our walk around and we've found some lamb rumps. And also too, we've got a selection of vegetables. We've got some parsnips, some broccolini, some carrots, chapped potatoes, some red onions, some garlic, and also found some Truss cherry tomatoes this morning as well. So with the lamb, I've got one already prepared and trussed up. So what we did is we removed the silver skin, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. So the one that's already ready to go, we're going to put some salt.
So season.
We're going to put some rosemary in there as well. So we're going to seal that off and put it in the oven. All right, Marco, so we've got our pan coming hot now. The best thing about lamb rumps is because it's not such a big piece of meat, you can cook this in about 20 minutes.
Now, why are we sealing it, Nick?
It just helps to create a caramelization on the outside and seal in the flavor. So once it's sealed, then we can put it into the oven. While we've got that coloring up, we're going to prepare some of our vegetables. Into the roasting tray, good splash of veg oil. We've got some potatoes that we've just cut in half.
And going with a smaller roast, obviously smaller portions of the vegetable sizing so they cook through quicker.
We don't want to be cooking large potatoes that take 45 minutes. We want something that's going to be quite quick. So we're going to toss them in the oil. With that too, we're going to add in some parsnip. We're going to take the end off the parsnip. We're going to cut it down the length of it. And again, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove the core of the parsnip.
Why are we doing that?
It's quite hard.
And again, by taking that core out, it'll cook that little bit quicker, which means it'll time in perfectly with our roast, yeah?
Exactly. We've got some carrot, so we'll cut these in half, in quarters, then we'll cut them down the length again. So we've got some garlic here as well, garlic head, and I've just cut the top off of that.
And the cutting the head off just makes that roasting process
helps
easier?
the cooking process.
Yeah, beautiful.
Some red onion, so we're going to pop that in as well. A little bit more oil over the top. And with the vegetables, Marco, we're going to put it on a generous amount of seasoning. It's good to season everything. Salt and pepper is a beautiful thing. So again, a piece of rosemary we'll add into that. How's our roast looking, Marco?
Yeah, it's browning up really nicely.
Excellent. If you'd be able to pass down the other roasting tray, what we're going to prepare is called a trivet. What we're going to do is we're going to put roast vegetables underneath the lamb rump.
Okay. Why do we do that?
It just helps to get the lamb off the bottom of the pan. So, some carrots.
So I guess a trivet is a vegetable bed in this case.
It is. We're going to put some more rosemary on top of that.
So this time we're putting in whole garlic?
This time we're just putting in the cloves, but we're not going to peel them. So once they're roasted, you can squeeze the clove and the emitter will just pop out. We're going to put the roast onto the trivet.
So we'll put the roast to bed?
Yep, make it nice and comfortable. We're going to add in a dash of stock. And we're going to put that in a 180-degree oven for about 20 minutes. We've got our veg oiled and seasoned up with a little bit of rosemary in there as well. So we'll put that in the oven now for 20 minutes as well.
And again, we put that in uncovered because that way it'll time in with the roast, yeah?
Exactly.
Fantastic.
All right, so while we're waiting for those to cook, I've got another lamb roast here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go through preparing the lamb roast and getting it ready to go. So what we want to do first is the silver skin that's around it. We want to remove that because in the heat, in the cooking process, this shrinks.
Okay.
So what we want to do is remove it so that it doesn't shrink and it keeps the muscle relaxed. So it's just a matter of going underneath and then dragging it away. We just want to remove a little bit more of that fat.
Yeah.
Clean up the ends a little bit. And one step we can do is we can truss it up.
What's trussing?
So trussing is lacing it up with string.
Okay.
So that creates a piece of meat that's even the whole way along.
Now, where would you get trussing string from, Nick?
You can get this from your butcher in the central markets. Build a relationship with your butcher and he'll be able to give it to you.
And again, this is to create consistency in your meat, so it all cooks at the same time frame.
It's just to get an even piece of meat. And there we go, that's our piece of meat trussed.
Beautiful.
We're just going to stick the rosemary down the back of the trussing string.
Now, why do we do that, Nick?
Just helps with a little bit more flavour. And there we go, that's our lamb rump ready to go for sealing.
Awesome.
All right, Marco, so our lamb's nearly ready.
Yeah.
There goes the timer. So let's pull it out.
That smells awesome, man.
Got a whole lot of
Fantastic.
juice in the bottom there as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start preparing our pan gravy.
Beautiful.
So for our pan gravy, we're going to remove the juice from the pan, pour it into another pan.
And that's where we'll get our flavour, yeah?
Yeah. And we're going to put the lamb across to rest. We've got the pan juices out of the roasting pan now. So we're just going to bring them up to heat. We're going to create a roux base. So putting in the flour with some of the juices, not all of the stock. We're going to add some more stock after.
Yeah, beautiful.
We're going to cook out the flour and that's going to help to bind and make the gravy.
Okay, so thicken.
All right, so that's coming up nice and hot now. So we're going to add a little bit of the flour.
So just when it starts to sizzle.
Yeah. We're going to start off by mixing in the flour with a wooden spoon. We're going to work as hard as we can to try and keep the lumps out of it. We're cooking out the flour, and although there's some small lumps in there now, once we put in the rest of the stock, they'll come out.
Yeah, perfect.
So we're going to add in more stock.
And this is beef stock?
Yep, this is beef stock. We're going to add in a little bit, and we're just going to stir that in. Little by little, we're going to ease that in.
You can see those lumps starting to cook out now, yeah?
Yeah, they're starting to disappear. So we've got a lot more stock in there now, and we've really worked it down, so all the lumps have disappeared.
So now we just need to thicken it up, yeah?
Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that to sit there and reduce a little bit more while we plate up the other things.
So how are vegetables coming, Nick?
Vegetables are looking gorgeous, Marco. We've got some nice colour on the potatoes, the carrots and the parsnips. Also, about 8 minutes ago, we put in the Truss cherry tomatoes. So we'll just roast them up a little bit. And also too, we've got a little bit of broccolini that we've finished heating off in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start building a bed. So we'll put the broccolini on.
Nice crispy potatoes.
Put a little bit of the red onion. Some of our carrots. Some of our parsnips. Cherry tomatoes we're just going to put on like that. We're going to remove the strings and the rosemary that we've put on it.
So tell me again, what does the resting do?
So resting just helps to relax the muscle. So by relaxing the muscle, once we cut it, the blood doesn't come flowing out of it really quickly.
I see what you mean.
So there's no juice that's gushing out of the piece of meat.
Perfectly cooked, but not bloody.
Okay, so we've got our gravy ready to go, and then we're just going to pour it over the entirety of the lamb.
It's just like a Sunday roast.
A little bit of rosemary in the middle, and there we go.
Just like Grandma used to make.
Let's have a taste, Mark.
Let's eat.
Put a little bit of the garlic there we got out of the pan, some of the pan gravy.
That lamb is beautifully cooked, Nick.
Nice earthy flavours, pan gravy.
Beautiful flavours. Gravy's amazing. Beautifully cooked, Nick.
Really rustic vegetables, beautiful medium rare roast lamb. I'm not sure about you, but my final dinner would definitely be a roast lamb.
Especially with that gravy.
Beautiful. Marco, thanks very much.
Nick, always a pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
Until next time.